Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Caffeine Queen Crafts. My name is Sarah. That baby you hear in the background is mine. She's on the monitor and she's fighting sleep. We're all gonna learn to live with it. All right, today we are kitting up my next WIP, which is Smile, wow, that's the tagline, which is Left in Ruins by Brian Dean Rowlandson. This was a spring release of this year from Distracted by Diamonds. I'm super excited. Ow! Sorry, my cat just clawed me for no reason. Oh my god. The cat drama knows no bounds. All right. This was a spring release. I don't think this kit is in their store anymore, but I will link their Etsy shop down below. It's from Distracted by Diamonds, who also is known as Paddywhack. So yeah, I'm excited about this one because this one's actually, once it's done, it's going to be a Christmas gift for my sister. So there is a bit of a time crunch on making sure we finish this one, and I wanted to make sure it was all kitted up and ready to go for when I finish Drills and Chills. So let's go ahead and get into it. I am kitting up into the Diamond Art Club storage containers. This is a new set to me, so I'm excited. There's 45 colors in this, by the way, if anyone's curious. I don't remember the measurements offhand. We are also going to have to be cutting with scissors because the stickers on this are not pre-cut. But I have a dryer sheet for us to pour drills into to help prevent static. So I'm going to start just by cutting out this little rectangle here with all the colors on it. I'm sure this is the riveting content you all have come to expect from me. Ooh, I'm trying to think. This video is going up on Wednesday, so you won't have seen it yet. I have a video coming out of me building a book nook, and I was watching it, and I was like, this seems like it's long. I think I talked too much during that video, but we will see how it does on the analytics. I'm not thinking it's going to do well, although I shouldn't pay attention to that kind of thing, especially since I'm not even monetized. Okay, so we have our stickers cut out. And then I am going to also cut out this picture of the original artwork with the artist info down below. So we have it. And then I will put this in my logbook later. I did already washi tape the sides and the first row and the first square I'm going to do, just because that is something I like to do when I'm kitting up. And I was on the phone with my sister before this, actually, so I just thought it would be easiest to do those things off camera while I was talking to her. All right, so go ahead and I'll leave that there. A nice reminder of what we are working on right there. There's a good spot for it. Okay. And let's get into the drills. They came in little plastic baggies, but I would like to at least initially go in DMC order. So we are going to have to do some hunting and picking for them. All right. So the way I usually like to kit up is I organize them by number first, by like the first hundreds, and we get into, and or if they're in the thousands. So if they're in the thousands, I'm putting them off to the side. If they're in 100 range, I'm organizing them by hundreds. Like these are 800s, 700s. 900, 700, 3,000s, 3,000, 3,000. Sorry, trying to get everything more organized. It's a special drill. But it's a special drill in the 800s, so we're going to leave it there. 3,000, 3,000, 700, 300, 900, 400, 400, 900, 3,000, 600, 3,000. All right. 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. A special drill, but it's in the 3,000s. Special drill, but it's in the 900s. A special drill, but it's in the 3,000s. A 100, a 100, a 400, a 400, a 700, a 600, a 600. Darn, I thought she was asleep. Oh my gosh. All right, and then we're gonna move the piles out of the way and just sort of go in this descending order. Okay. So we're starting over here with 154. All right. Okay. We are getting into it, friends. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is pick out a size. This is a small one. I recently learned this trick that I have kind of become low-key obsessed with, where you put washi tape down. Misa, why are you squeaking at me? Mama did not do anything. You put washi tape down on the container, and then the sticker over the washi tape, and that makes kitting down easier. Whew. I picked a bad day to cut my nails, because now I can't quite peel this apart. So happy when things are challenging while I'm filming. That always makes me feel bad for you guys, for the owner. There we go. That was 100% a me thing. That was just me being weird. Okay. So we are doing color 154. All right, it is Monday night. I did not have work today because it is, depending on your personal feelings, it's either Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. I call it Indigenous Peoples Day. That's kind of important to me. But if you are adamant about it being Columbus Day, sure. You do you. Anyway, I was off for Indigenous Peoples Day today. Had a pretty good day. And this is ultimately, I think, just the culmination of me being a bit of a mess at work, because the analogy I always like to use when it comes to me is that I am like a freight train. I build these routines. Routines are incredibly important to me because I think kids today, really all kids, whether they have special needs or are more what people would call neurotypical, they require consistency. I'm gonna actually go with a medium one for this. And a big part of that is having your routines built. Like knowing, you know, like Monday we introduce a new concept. Tuesday we do irregular words. Wednesday we work on syllable patterns and spelling. Wednesday, syllable pattern, spelling, and fluency. But like, you know, there's a certain rhythm and a routine that I build, and it's all based off having a 5-day week. And I am great at sticking to that routine. It is really a strength of mine. I am a freight train. I do not deviate from the path I have set. But every now and then, something comes up, like a 4-day week. We have 2 4-day weeks in a row. I'll get into that in a second. Like a 4-day week. And then I forget that I have to deviate. And I crash into something hard. And then my organizational system goes from being an asset to a hindrance real fast. And I am, oh no, just a low-key mess. Wow, I just peeled that apart at the wrong end. That is not good. We might have to clear tape that one. Okay. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I'm a little worried about that one falling off. I might just put some Scotch tape over the top to make sure it stays down. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. So we have 2 4-day weeks in a row because we were off today. And tomorrow and Friday was a Teacher Institute day, which means we all got together to have meetings or to have time to work in our rooms. I'm gonna set this one aside so that I remember I need to tape that back down with some clear Scotch tape. Which is totally fine. We were supposed to have meetings, something came up. We mainly just worked in our rooms, which was good because I needed to catch up on some stuff. This is 900, I need 300, okay. But, you know, me being the freight train that I am, I now have to deal with 2 weeks in a row, or 3 weeks in a row, because the week after is parent-teacher conferences. And so the kids get some time off so that we can do parent-teacher conferences. And, whew. So it's 3, and then after that, and then the week after that, I have a root canal, and it's Halloween. So I have 4 weeks in a row. I just started pulling kids. I just got into my routine. And now I have to deviate, and I'm like, not a happy camper about it, because I love my routines. I am a creature that thrives on routine. So I am off of my routine for basically the rest of October. And I'm feeling a type of way about it. I don't love it. I don't love it. This is a thing where you move the stuff around and it just gets the static out. But I appreciated getting extra work time on Friday. We got to plan an event we're hosting later in the spring. And then we got to catch up on some internal paperwork, sending note home about sending progress report updates, that kind of thing. Which I always like doing because, you know, it just gives, it either tells parents, yeah, we're making progress, it's great. Here's extra things you want to work on, or we're still struggling in these specific areas. Here's extra things you want to work on. My response, whether or not kids are doing well or still struggling, remains pretty much the same. Here are some ideas of extra things you can work on. And I always appreciate being able to send that kind of communication home to parents. And if I can add in a little data and numbers, that's good. The other day, actually, my math counterpart was like, there's something about the way people with data talk, like the data people, the way we talk is just very confident. And I'm like, well, yeah, because we know we have numbers to back us up. We're not stating our opinions or coming at things, you know, with like no solid point of reference. We are coming at you with numbers and data to back up our talking. So it's always exciting. I think she's getting sleepy, knock on wood. Anyway, I have to adjust my expectations. I think I'm not really introducing any new concepts to anyone other than kindergarten and maybe the upper grades this week. We're going to practice them for longer. So essentially, I'm going to introduce maybe 2 more new concepts this week. And then we're just going to practice them the next few weeks and just make sure we're all real solid on what we've learned so far before we move forward in November. Because, like, we have, you know, the 3-day week, the 4-day week. We had the 4-day week last week. We have a 4-day week this week. A 3-day week next week. And then I'm out 1 day the week after that. And then there's Halloween that Friday. So no one's going to get anything done. You never can teach anything new on Halloween. There is no new learning that happens on Halloween. Halloween is just not a learning day. I don't really have a system I'm going with for this. I'm just sort of, and by system, I mean like I don't have a system to how I'm deciding like what size container each one gets. I'm just sort of going off of feel and vibe. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. I was going to say we'll play it by ear, but I hate playing things by ear. Now I'm really paranoid when I'm doing these stickers. I'm going to try to not just stop talking randomly so much, but hopefully. It's not a common occurrence. Pick yarn. All right. What else outside of work? Holly, who is still up, as we all can hear, is doing pretty good. She's, you know, reaching some new developmental milestones. Mainly, when I point at something, she will also point at it, and she'll make noises, and she'll point at things that she sees now, but she's got to be, like, really motivated by it, and it has to be really special. The people who were assessing her because of her slight speech delay were asking me questions about that. And I was like, you know, it's a very motivation-driven skill. Like, mainly she points if it's, like, super special. You know, like, I think the first thing she pointed at to mean that she wanted it was the splash pad over the summer. So it's got to be, like, splash pad level cool. But today we went to the aquarium, and we apparently saw many splash pad level cool things like otters and fish and a turtle and a shark. Like, those are all splash pad level cool stuff apparently, and I love that for her. Because they are awesome. All of those animals are awesome. In fact, there's a turtle at the aquarium. I know this because in the year, it's been almost a year since we got our aquarium membership to the St. Louis Aquarium. And my sister got it for us for Christmas last year. So yeah, it's been about a year. But there's a turtle at the St. Louis Aquarium that they have named Quasimodo, nicknamed Quasi, who has, I think it's a flotation device or a weight or something on their back that is supposed to help them swim because they have an injury to their leg or their shell. Their shell is cracked, that's what it is. And so they need a little flotation device to help them swim. And I have apparently gotten real good at spotting Quasi because there's a few different sea turtles at the aquarium. All of them are injured and can't be released into the wild for one reason or another. But Quasi has a very distinctive way of swimming. And we've apparently gone there so much, I can now pick Quasi out of the lineup of swimming turtles. Ooh, which I think is kind of funny. Oh, sorry. Big yawn. Like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason to this. We're just sort of rolling with what color we think works. But no, Holly's doing good. She is also still in toddler tumbling. And she, I think, has learned that toddler tumbling things can be done not just in toddler tumbling class because, you know, at toddler tumbling she learned when you're on a ramp or like on the air mattress or whatever. It's not an air mattress. They have a special name for it, but I'm blanking on what it's called. They have a thing where like you bend over, you touch your toes, and then your parent flips you. And you basically do a somersault. And she loves this. She sees the room, she gets into the position and everything. She knows what to do while they're there. We're there. But the other day, she was sitting on the couch. She was standing up on the couch. She bent over, she touched her toes. And I just thought it'd be funny to flip her. And now that we've realized that Mommy can flip us in all sorts of contexts. It is not a magical thing that only happens in the toddler tumbling class. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it because now she just, anytime I touch her, if she's in a certain like super playful mood, she will just bend over and touch her toes and expect me to flip her over. And then when I don't, because I'm doing something like, you know, picking her up to put her down for a nap or picking her up to change a diaper or to get her food or whatever, she gets mad because she wants me to flip her over. She does not want me to go, you know, do the thing that keeps her alive. But what can I say? Moms are the worst. A decent portion of my day is spent, you know, keeping her alive. Oh, what can you do? But it is what it is. We're having a good time. I enjoy being a mom. I do. I like being a mom a lot. One of the moms at school, and by moms I mean like another teacher at school who is also a mom to a kid about Holly's age, asked me, she was like, is the best part of your day daycare pickup? I was like, you know what? Yeah, it is, because, you know, she's just happy to see me. And then, of course, I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do with you the rest of the day? I'm so tired. But like that moment when she sees me and she drops whatever she's doing and she smiles and she comes running at me, that's just like, oh, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. I'm not the biggest fan of the toddler phase. It's kind of a lot, especially when you're a single parent. But there are moments that are just great. So that's what's going on in terms of life. In terms of crafting, I actually have been doing my cross stitch, I almost said my cross stitch conversion. It's not a cross stitch conversion. I'm not doing a cross stitch conversion. A cross stitch conversion is where you are converting a cross stitch pattern into a diamond painting kit. I'm just doing a flat out cross stitch. There is a stitch along from Flossy Fox Shop that I believe is called Flower Dragon Meadow. Sorry, another yawn. That's what happens when you know, take your child to the aquarium and try to give them a meaningful experience. You're exhausted at them, you know. Where did the 500s go? There they are. They were hiding from me. Only 2? Okay. But basically, she releases 1/6 of the pattern every month. And she released the 3rd part. I had not even started on the 2nd because, I don't know. I finished the 1st part and my brain was just like, I'm done, I'm tired. Because I don't have the same level of stamina for cross stitch that I do for diamond painting. Like, I finish a cross stitch and I'm like, whew, I need a break. Whereas I finish diamond painting and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's next? And that's all, of course, just a matter of personal preference, but that's what I'm like. And so, but I saw the 3rd part and it looked really awesome. And then I also pulled out my completed part 1 for my month in review because I did finish it in September. And looking at it, I was like, this looks really awesome. I need to do the 2nd part. So I reorganized my floss. I kind of kidded. Did a little mini shift on my Ada. I can never say it right. Ada. My Ada. It's Ada. That's what it is, I think. I'm not the best cross stitcher. I'm not a very avid cross stitcher, obviously. So I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Anyway, I went ahead, shifted a bunch of things over, and got going again. And it is looking pretty good so far, if I do say so myself. I've accepted that I'm behind, and that's just okay. It's okay. I'm behind, and it's fine. Because this is a hobby, and it's supposed to be fun. So, you know. Did anybody else see that Diamond Art Club was running a special today? At the time of this filming, at least they were. Where if you spent like $75, you were going to get storage organizers, which I think is this thing I'm using right now. That would be insane. That would be like an insanely good deal, and it makes me think that their storage organizers maybe aren't moving the way they thought they would. I don't know. Some people are very loyal to Elizabeth Ward, and Diamond Art Club storage containers are not quite, they're similar, but their orientation is a little different. Like they face up, whereas Elizabeth Ward's faces sideways. And I had not bought a ton of Elizabeth Ward storage containers at the time Diamond Art Club came out with these, and I actually prefer Diamond Art Club's containers just because they are, you can fit more colors into one tray in the format that they've chosen. But that's like a minor thing. And so I understand why a lot of people didn't want to switch over to the Diamond Art Club storage organizers. Because I wouldn't switch over after I'd invested so much money over something minor like that. But I hadn't invested a lot of money, which is why usually when I buy a new storage container, like I do have Elizabeth Ward, but they are all currently taken up by Elegance Fuchsia, which is my 198 color count kit. My beast of a project. And like, I'm fine, I don't miss them because I've got other storage containers that I'm using instead, including my Diamond Art Club, obviously. But I don't know. My thing is that I hadn't already sunk a bunch of money into Elizabeth Ward, so I didn't mind buying a bunch of Diamond Art Club. So that was actually a really good deal for someone like me. I don't know how long they're running it, if they are still running it. They probably won't still be running it by the time this goes up on Wednesday. So if that was something you were interested in, I hope you got it. If she is still awake by the time I finish this WIP and chat, I didn't have a good feeling, because when I turned to close the door on her when I laid her down, she was sleepy. But when I turned to close the door, she was already sitting up and like holding her toys, her stuffies. Did I put her turtle in with her? Yes, I did. There's this turtle, which was the pillow I laid her on when she would nurse. And so it's got a lot of really positive connotations and smells and snuggles. And, you know, I still hold it when we rock. I still, like, place her on it so it smells like us, and she associates it with certain things. It's just like a squishmallow turtle or whatever. And usually when it's in there with her, that's like the magic bullet, but it's not working tonight. Take a drink of my soda, because that's where we are right now. We're drinking soda. Ooh. So, in terms of diamond art, I know I've talked about this, but I'm really trying not to kit up too much more this year. I'm gonna finish the spiral, which is the kit I have been working on for Drills and Chills. And then after that, I have two kits that are supposed to be gifts for the holidays. One is a gift for my sister. It is her Christmas present because we do celebrate Christmas. She was looking through my stash last time she was in town, and I had bought a diamond painting that I intended to give to her. But when I was in her apartment, because we went to visit her in New York this summer, I thought to myself, you know what? I think it's too big. I think the kit I picked for her is too big. And I mentioned this to her, and she was like, well, let me see it. We came back to my house. She reminded me that we needed to look in the kits a few days later. I pulled out the kit that I had originally intended to give her. She was like, no, that's too big. I was like, that's what I thought. I forgot how little your apartment is. Or not little. Her apartment's actually a pretty decent size for New York. It's just that she already has things on her walls. There's not a lot. There's a lot in her living room and her kitchen, and even in her bathroom, but she has almost nothing in her bedroom. Like, the only thing in her bedroom is this little sketch that our aunt did for us when we were children. It's like sentimental. And she knits like a lot. And she usually knits me something. Like, she'll get me a book and then she'll knit me something normally for the holidays. And I was like, you know what? How do you feel then about picking out a diamond painting from my stash? And if you hate all of them, we can try to find something else. She was like, I'll go through and I'll try to find something. And she's going through and she's like, I don't know about any of this. But then I remembered, this kit shipped in a box that didn't fit it perfectly well. So I had it stored in a separate location than the others. And I was like, wait, there is one that you might really gravitate towards, because it is very much your style and just your whole mentality and your vibes, because she's been in a kind of dark place lately. And I showed her the artwork and the size point, and she was like, yes, that one. That one is how I feel right now. And I really love art that perfectly encapsulates how you feel during a certain period of your life. Like there is some art on the wall behind me that I acquired when my mom was in hospice. It's not a diamond painting, it's an actual painting. It's like, I don't want to say a collector's item, but it came with a certificate of authenticity, and it's by a not very well-known artist, but it's a series, like an island of buildings, and they're floating in the ocean, and it's called Adrift. And I acquired that when my mom was in hospice because it really spoke to me. And I realized why pretty quickly after I hung it and I displayed it. And it was because I felt adrift, because, you know, I was losing, you know, one of the most important people in my life at the time. She passed away before that little baby back there was born. And so I felt like I was adrift. I felt like I was lost at sea and slowly sinking. And that was why the artwork spoke to me. And I still have it up and displayed, even though that's not how I feel about my life anymore. But I look at it and I remember feeling seen in that time of my life, in that era, as Taylor Swift would say. So I still like to have it up and displayed. And so I was really glad when she saw it and she was like, I feel like that perfectly encapsulates how I feel right now. But maybe I shouldn't take it because I won't always feel this way. And I was like, well, yeah, you won't always feel this way. But, like, that doesn't mean that this art still can't speak to a certain portion of your life. And I know my example sounds weird, and her example too. But I think, honestly, when you're in some sort of emotional state of crisis, that is when art speaks to you the most. And so that's why those pieces are, like, important and valuable for us. And why, yeah, maybe the art doesn't remind you necessarily of a happy time, but it reminds you of a time when it evoked a certain emotion in you, or it was a visual representation of what was going on in your mind and body. And I think that art is still very special, even when you are no longer in that mental place anymore. As I'm saying that all out loud, that sounds kind of heavy for a Christmas gift compared to what the other kit I'm giving away for Christmas is. Okay, I'm laughing because I finally did unbox this kit on the channel. I filmed that unboxing that went up on Sunday a while ago. It's the Fallon's Gem unboxing. The other kit that I need to do, it's not as high on the priority list as this one because we do it for, it's a gift exchange that my friends and I do in January. Like, we, about halfway through January, do what we call, I don't want to say it on YouTube because the internet is forever. It's Witchmas, but with a B. I'll let you imagine where the B is. Where we just kind of give each other really bad gifts. Like, last year I came home with a stuffed llama and the contents of someone's condiment drawer. So, like, every free soy sauce packet one of my friends had gotten that year. Last year I gave away a truly horrifying calm down jar that is essentially was just all glitter and a bunch of nonsense that was left in my desk, like sticky notes or whatever. You know, the point of this holiday is not to give your friends thoughtful gifts, it's to give them mean gifts. And so this year I'm probably going to, you know, wrap up recycling scraps of paper, and a diamond painting. Have a diamond painting be in the center, and it's going to be the the kit that I unboxed in the video that went up on Sunday. That is a skeleton sitting in a dumpster bin with a raccoon, and the tagline is "Keep it trashy." Those are the kits I'm giving away this year as gifts. One super deep, meaningful, emotional piece of artwork for my sister, and one that I'm gonna wrap with garbage for my friends. And that's a real sharp contrast. That contrast is so sharp, I might have whiplash. Also, if any of my friends are watching this, you spoiled yourselves because I warned you guys not to watch my channel for the next few months. I should have put that in a medium one. Oh well, it's fine. No, it's not fine. I'm gonna move it. Yeah, I'm gonna move it. So. After that emotional whiplash, let's see what else. So since I'm trying to focus on those two kits, and I would love to also finish Elegance Fuchsia, my 198 color count kit, before the new year, I don't think we're going to be kitting up many new kits. This one and the Keep It Trashy one. So hopefully kitting down, although I don't really like to do whip and chats while I kit down, because I feel like I get too focused in on the baggies and the numbers and making sure everything would stay organized. I would not be a good conversationalist while I did that. So this might be one of the last few kit up, whip and kit up and chats of the year. And some of you are probably like, yeah, Sarah, you're not a good conversationalist while you're kitting up either, so that might actually be a good thing. Which is valid. I don't think I'm a good conversationalist most of the time. So the fact that anyone watches this at all always kind of low-key blows my mind. Ooh. All right, what time is it? I've been talking about 45 minutes, so should maybe start getting into content. This week, so this video, this whip and chat, is going up on Wednesday because that's when my whip and chats go up. And then on Sunday, it's going to be a bit of a different style. It's going to be a start to finish, but not a diamond painting. I built a book nook, a haunted book nook for Halloween. I edited that video today, and I'm going to schedule it probably once I'm done kitting this up. And I have to say, that video is longer than it has any right to be. Like, considering how much I time-lapsed, although I think I literally filmed almost every single, either in time-lapse or in real time with me blithering away. I think I filmed almost everything that I did to build that book nook. So that's going to go up on Sunday. And feel like if you've made it this far into the video, maybe you will enjoy that one since it is more of a long form kind of content. I'm going to take a drink. Sorry. That's going up Sunday. And then I think the following week, my kind of freestyle video, because I always do a whip and chat and then I do one other kind of video. And it's an unboxing, a post review, a start to finish. I'm going to do a challenge, my first ever challenge video. I got the idea from Lena over at Library of Diamonds, where she did a 5 a.m. challenge, which was she challenged herself to wake up at 5 a.m. and diamond paint until she started work. I am going to do something very similar, where I wake up at 5 a.m. and diamond paint until 6. Because, hear me out, Holly's daycare is switching locations really any day now, any week now. Their open house is on the books. They were meeting about the license last week on Friday. I have a feeling we're going to go in on Tuesday and they're going to tell me at pickup that they are switching locations. The new location is farther away, which means I'm going to have to leave earlier, which means I'm going to have Holly up earlier, which means I'm going to have to be up earlier to get ready earlier. And this lovely domino effect is just going to fall straight through my life. And I figured that a good way to soften that blow would be, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. because I have to get ready right away. Because we are still at the old location, which means we still have to leave at the regular time. But I would like to be adjusted to the new schedule before I have to adjust Holly to the new schedule. And so can you tell I'm a teacher? I'm planning all of this out in advance so far. And I thought a good way to get myself adjusted, because there have been times in my life where I get up at 5 a.m. None of them have been while I'm a working mother. They have all been at different times in my life, and I found it more motivating to get up at that time if when I got up, I was going to get to do something I enjoyed. That could be product creation in my TPT store, which I need to make more products for my TPT store, but I don't know. I'm done teaching at the end of the day, and I want to I can't think about kids all day long. I just can't. Anyway. Whew. And then if I have something that I find motivating, that helps me get out of bed. Were there no 800s? There should be one 800, 898. Where did 898 go? Here it is. So I'm going to start waking up tomorrow at 5 a.m. to diamond paint. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but diamond paint or do some other kind of craft, even if I just sit and do pixels. We're calling it a 5 a.m. challenge. I've got to do that for a week. And maybe a little into the next week. However long we have to do it to get myself adjusted to this new schedule. So we're calling it a challenge to kind of make it more fun. Really, it's a necessity, but we're calling it a challenge to make it seem like it's a choice I'm making. So, I'm gonna start filming that tomorrow, obviously. And that will probably go up, not next week, because the Book Nook kit is going up next week, but the week after. And I think that is it in terms of content I am producing. In terms of content I am consuming, there's the usual diamond painting stuff. And I know there's been some videos going around that are a little more critical. I'm not going to talk about it. I have thoughts, but we're not going to get into it because I try to keep it light over here. Because I don't know about you guys, but I have enough stress in my life. And this is a hobby that is supposed to be fun. If you like creators, watch them. If you don't like creators, don't. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter. And then, the other drama videos that I've been watching are like the drama that I enjoy because it has nothing at all to do with me. So like your Swoop 2 videos about like whatever nonsense the internet is up in arms about today. Or, oh, there's also 823. How did I miss that? Look at that. That's a special. so pretty. Like, you know, I've been watching, you know, the kind of drama where it's like, Karen throws soup at, retail worker. Everyone rightfully outraged by this person that is clearly a villain, and it is not complicated at all. And here's some sweet, satisfying justice of the consequences this person faced. You know, that kind of thing. That's the kind of drama I'm into right now. The drama with resolutions that are satisfying and that has nothing at all to do with me. Ooh, a lot of static there. A lot of static. Hold on one sec. So something you can do if there's a lot of static like this and you can't even get them out of the bag is you can breathe into them like you're fogging up a mirror. Breathe into the bag, I mean. But be very careful not to inhale. I have definitely swallowed some drills doing this, so consider yourself warned, but here we go. There we go. A little better. I'm gonna let those sit in the dryer sheet for a minute. Shuffle them around a little. Ooh. I wonder if, I always think of it as Zimmer because it always shows up on the like DMC code is like ZG whatever number. I always think Zimmer glitter, which I know is not right. I don't remember what the Z stands for, but I wonder if the Zimmer drills are more inclined to get static, because that seemed like an unusual amount of static for this kit. There's not been a ton of static so far. I wonder if they're more inclined to get static. There might be some scientific reason for that. Speaking of science, the other content I have been consuming is I have been watching Young Sheldon. I started when I was pregnant and I lost interest because I had the baby, and then I was like, couldn't focus on anything with a plot that I hadn't seen before, so I picked it back up again. And I have to say, I think Sheldon might be the least interesting character on Young Sheldon. I am much more interested in his parents and his siblings. Like, you know, Sheldon is frankly the one that I care about the least. And I guess other people must have felt the same way because, I mean, there's the spinoff for the spinoff show, which is Georgie and Missy's first marriage. Not Missy, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. So I guess I'm not the only one who felt that way. Always lovely. To know that I am valid, because very often I wind up feeling the opposite of everyone else. So that's nice. Next up, 9:31. So that's what I have been consuming in terms of content. I did decide, I have 1 week left, so I've not been reading that much because I have been taking this course, ironically, on the science of reading and how to teach children to read. And that has interfered with my own reading. So ironically, my course on reading has been interfering with my reading. But I'm gonna finish that up. I have 2 modules left, so I'm hopefully gonna be done with it by not the time this video goes up, because I've been trying to do a module a day when I'm working, so hopefully by the time this video goes up, I will only have 1 module left. And if you're watching this Wednesday night, I have finished. I'm done. Hopefully, knock on wood. So that's the plan there. And I've decided that at home I'm going to put the Lincoln Assassination book on pause. And I'm going to try to read something lighter, because that is just where my brain is at. I just need light floof. So I am reading the 3rd book in the Kingmaker series. And full disclosure on this, I will link it down below, but you should know that most people have not, that I know who have read the Kingmaker series, oh shoot, have not liked the Kingmaker series. Hold on, I need to get the Scotch tape. Sorry, I totally just ripped the sticky part of the sticker off. I did that to another one earlier, so I'm just gonna Scotch tape them both down. Anyway, Kingmakers. So I describe Kingmakers. It is a book with 4 main books in it, and then I think 1 novella. It is spicy. I read it for my spicy book club. And I was one of like 3 people in the book club that liked it. And I was all about that. It was like if the cast of One Tree Hill went to Hogwarts for the Mafia. And I thought that was something we would all be on board with. And most people very much were not. But I like the Kingmakers. I like it in the sense that I know it's bad, but I don't care. So if that's the kind of book you like, check it out. I'll link it down below. I'll link the series down below. There are also links to the things that I'm using. I may make a small commission if you should choose to use one of those links, but do not feel like you have to. You are welcome to search them out on your own. And if you do use them, you're not paying any extra. You pay the same price. What else? Yeah, so I started reading the Kingmakers before bed. It's just as horrible as I remember, but I am enjoying it. So hopefully, I don't think I'll have finished it by the time we do this again next week, but hopefully like I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, I have made progress on it. I'm not just reading nothing. And once my headspace is filled up where I'm not like, you know, just thinking about the science of reading all day long, and how on earth am I going to make any kind of meaningful difference if I only have half an hour with my kids? I come from SPED where we get 90 minutes. SPED is special ed. I was a special ed teacher. Now I'm doing intervention with kids that don't have special needs but just need a little extra support. And I'm adjusting to the difference in time. My mind was just sort of blown when they were like, yeah, you get 30 minutes. And I was like, 30 minutes? What? Although I did take data, and there's been some gains. So, like, I shouldn't be knocking the 30 minutes because, you know, maybe if you don't have dyslexia, you don't need quite the same level of time that other friends did. 9:38. Yeah. So I think that's it in terms of content that I am consuming, content that I am producing. I have not been listening to the Taylor Swift album. I know a lot of diamond painters have been talking about it. I am not a Swiftie, despite the Eras joke that I made earlier. It wasn't even a joke. I was mostly quoting Taylor Swift. But I am happy for those of you that are in the Swiftie community who are drawing power, I guess. That makes it sound like I picture you all recharging a crystal under the moon or whatever, but like, if you're unhappy, I'm sorry. If you're happy, I'm happy for you? Question mark? I don't know. I'm not as on the internet as I am, so I'm not really following the drama, but that just occurred to me because I was watching a WIP and chat today with someone who was like, I'm listening to Taylor Swift and here's all my opinions on it. Okay. I'm trying to get back into podcasts and listen to my favorite, which is Morbid, which is about true crimes and some unaliving. And if you want to be real mean to yourself, the host of that of one of the hosts of that podcast, who's a medical examiner, has a book where the heroine is a medical examiner, and it's real good. I highly recommend it. But it will mess you up. The sequel, especially the second one in the series, will mess you up. Oof. That one I did not read because it was bad, and I liked it anyway. That one I read because the content was horrible and I was riveted. All right, on that note, we're going to stop here tonight. If you made it all the way to the end, what's something we can leave? Leave me a book emoji, since I'm trying to get back into reading. And since all I do is talk about reading all day long and think about reading. Reading, children, reading. All right, so leave me that book emoji down below. I hope your crafting is going super well and that your caffeine is hitting just right. Please have a good day. Bye.